to understand, or like some good like common practices
Correct. Yeah.
to do and avoid.
Yeah. So I will mention that. Yeah. I think a couple of URLs I had kept it for you. Let me see that. Okay, that style guide. Remember that we explored that style, like style inline styles, like within the same component. I could have a style like child component.css, or I could have a uh, styles.css, whichever that across which is applied across the global level. So Angular guide style guide recommends the same. So they
Oh,
recommend
okay.
the usage of that global style. Just be aware of it, use it, kind of thing. Happened. This guy is not even. So they talk about that hero component.ts has HTML, CSS, like single responsibility principle. What is single
Uh,
responsibility principle, by the way? So,
from what I remember is that like each component should be doing one thing. Um, like if your component is like starting to become complicated, you should just like make another component and make that reusable.
correct,
Yeah,
correct. So that's the same concept behind it. Yeah, sounds good.
I see. Because
I
like one,
have very less to teach here. Sorry.
oh yeah, I was gonna say that one thing that's like difficult at work when I'm trying to understand my code base, there's like a directory that's called common components, and that
Okay.
thing is massive. And like I have to like be careful. Like, okay, if I make a change on the common component, I might break everything in the other everywhere else. So I'm like still like figuring out my way around that.
Remember, you can extend a component.
Right, right. You can extend them.
Yeah, if you extend, you know very well you are the only one who is going to be using the extended component. And add a new one new property saying that maybe show the patent or like who created it or whatever you just want to add, like company name or something like that, just for logging purpose, something. So
I
that you
see.
could use your own component and doesn't have to change the parent.
I see. That's a good idea.
If it is too much of complicated of touch the parent, don't touch the parent. Create a
Yeah.
child. Use that. That's it. Simple. Only when you create the, how do I say, the services, you just use the providers to register that. Other than that, pretty much like remaining are all is pretty simple.
General naming guidelines. Okay.
Okay, so we will do one thing. Man, it's quite sleepy. It's already still 11 o'clock and I'm feeling sleepy already. Quite
Oh,
long.
that's right. I forgot about the time zone difference.
Yeah.
To be honest, I don't mind waking up early.
No, it's okay, no problem.
Yeah.
Except that I tried a lot to sleep in the afternoon, okay, but I didn't get sleep at all. Because I know that I tend to have to stay awake, no, so I tend to take a small nap or something, but I'm not used to that, right? So that's why it is. I don't get any sleep.
Yeah.
I lie down for 10 minutes, then again wake up, do work, get ready.
As long as you don't do that for a long time, like
I
you could
know,
do it for a week or two, but
yeah,
after that, it's dangerous.
I know. It's not long term. No, I've seen people doing it like for a long time, but their body is used to that. Like example, one of my friend who wakes up at like 6 o'clock or 5 o'clock in the evening, then goes to work, and then comes back at like 7 o'clock in the morning and he goes to sleep.
That's
That's
true.
weird, but he has been
But
doing it for many years.
I know someone that sleeps for like 4 hours a day, and he's
Oh,
been doing it for like 10 years.
um,
Yeah, I don't know how he does it.
yeah.
Let me see here.
So do one thing. I will take a short break. You continue, and
Okay.
if the notes like questions around it, I will have some coffee or something, and I'll start again.
All right. No worries.
Otherwise, you can also take a break if you like.
Yeah.
So the main important thing only is like routers, services. Those are only two important things. And yeah,
Yeah.
other than that, practically,
I'd say like the routers is something I don't know at all.
I read nothing. It's just it's very simple. So don't worry about it. It
Okay.
takes no more than 2 hours maximum, or half 1 hour to learn that.
Okay.
That's pretty much. After that, services. That also is like about 1 or 2 hours. So
Okay. So
that's
let's
why I
see.
had to slow. Okay,
Yeah.
slow down. So I'll add, oh, by the way, I have some assignments for you. Do you want to do that?
Sure.
Okay, so currently, what are you working on?
Like at work.
No, on the Angular project.
Um.
And your
Right.
current exercise, whatever you are working on. So,
Right now, I'm just looking at the documents you sent me, but
okay, so you finish that, then I will. I gave you one more like that input output.
the enhanced one, right?
No, not that. One more was there. Okay,
Oh, did you?
get that also. Sorry, I'm supposed to send that. Wait, I'll upload it. Oh, you downloaded it, right? That input outputs that zip.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
So that did that work?
Yep.
It is little bit bigger, so there's a lot of things. So we explore that also.
Yeah.
Okay. Explore here. So okay, you were going through some article what I had sent. So
Yeah.
oh, by the way, I just also wanted to add one more thing. Like which applications are good for building it in Angular?
Which applications are good for what?
For building in Angular, why Angular should be used?
Oh,
Or what applications are the ideal fit for Angular?
like enterprise applications?
Okay. Let's assume that I am having a mathematical. Nowadays, machine learning has been the core thing in what people have been working on lately, right? Because everything you might be hearing machine learning, artificial intelligence, and so on. Correct?
Yeah.
But is that a good application for building in Angular?
I'd say no.
Okay. Why do you think so?
Well, from what I understand, like to build a isn't an Angular just like a full stack
Correct.
um like framework?
Correct.
Uh, it's just for web development, I would say. But to like do um like art machine learning, isn't that like something for more Python ish?
Correct. So see, machine learning is about Python, no doubt. But there is a requirement that you want to still show reports. You want to still have some small UI applications to do some small work, like reports and all those things, like histogram. Machine learning also has presentation, right?
Oh, right,
So if
right,
you observe like Angular, see there people use some language called R language.
right.
Okay, for which also supports machine learning, but also supports small UI like showing reports and all those things. like pie chart and all those different charting tools are also available as a part of that language. So Angular would not be a good fit there. Then which application is a good fit for Angular then? If you observe what are the capabilities of Angular, first it's a framework. Remember, it's not a library alone, it's a framework. So framework means it has the capability to say, build enterprise applications, talk to the backend. More like the framework has end-to-end capability to do most of the things what an enterprise UI would need. Correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so there you generally end up looking at Angular as one of the choice. Now Angular has the capability to develop applications for desktop as well as for mobile.
Mhm.
Okay, so there you can think like, okay, my UI should run on mobile also. Then you can think about Angular as the way to go kind of thing, right? Then secondly, like reusability and all those things are also plus points. Then do you have the luxury of exploring different UI frameworks? Like if I go with React, then I need to think about ways to communicate to the backend, what kind of other libraries I need to use to get things done. Am I having the luxury of time and flexibility to explore different tools to build my application, or should I go with one predefined framework which has everything ready to go?
Yeah. I'd
But
say that's
earlier, our Angular also was very heavy. Means it was having a much more bigger code size, or the executable, whatever you call it, like a distributing piece of the UI, like JavaScript bundle, was also a little bit big only. But nowadays, the latest framework, due to that AOT compiling, and also like that IV way of compressing and executing, has significantly reduced the code size also, so that the application becomes smaller and can be deployed or hosted on multiple environments, like maybe mobile also, or maybe on the desktop also. So that's one another way to look at it, right? So there are different. And secondly, like, okay, how does the application talk to the backend?
using services.
Correct. So services are nothing but RESTful services mainly.
Okay.
Okay. So HTTP approach, HTTP supports what? Get, put, post, delete. Correct.
Yep.
Now, which are all the backend things can provide this kind of feature, like get, put, post, delete? So you can have like Spring based application, maybe even Node based, Node server based application, which supports this kind of RESTful services. So there, in case if your application has a front end Angular, but backend supported by Node or Spring, then it would be okay to go with Angular for UI development. Okay.
Yep.
Now, generally UI doesn't talk to the backend database directly, because the middle tier server will insulate the service from talking to the database. So generally you have more luxury of choosing the database whichever you want to choose.
Okay.
Okay. But most importantly, the middle tier should expose the data as a JSON.
Right.
Okay. Because that has become the default standard. Okay. So just be aware of that piece as well. Now, Angular also has other frameworks like say Angular Material and all those things, which provide you little bit like a better look and feel and so on. But what I've observed is like there are many other UI frameworks which are giving you little bit richer experience. Like say for example, within the table, I can do search, I can apply filter like an Excel sheet.
Right. Oh wow.
Has
Really?
has a capability of doing like say Excel has like I can apply filter formulas and all those good things I can do. Many other frameworks also offer this kind of very rich table components which has this Excel kind of capability, which Angular doesn't have.
Right.
Now, do you really need that kind of let's assume that I'm building a UI component framework which can be customized by the users. Are you with me?
The customer is
Like example, I'll give you. I am developing EXT.js. Have you heard of something called EXT.js?
no,
Extended JavaScript framework.
no.
Okay. So this is another framework provides you a very rich UI experience. You can build jazzy UI.
Okay.
Now that is a company which provides this framework itself. Now using this framework, you can build richer UI. Okay, but Angular is not about that. Angular is not about rich UI experience. It's about a framework which has end-to-end capability to build enterprise scale application. But if I want a very rich experience in UI, like fancy styles, fancy borders, all those things, then Angular might not be a good fit there.
Okay.
Because you need to build your own CSS and all those things. Angular doesn't provide it by default.
Okay.
Are you with me?
Yeah.
So those kind of use cases you need to think about to choose which is the best way to go for building application. Okay. So I'm anyway sharing that link for where Angular fits the best kind of thing. So please take a look at that as well.
Uh, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. My computer keeps freezing.
Volume is slightly less.
Yep. So I'll read it more thoroughly um like tonight.
Sorry, can you please repeat that?
I was gonna say that I'm gonna read this article more
No problem.
thoroughly tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you try out that NG switch also?
The I read it. I didn't try it out.
Okay, no problem. Just try it out if you have the bandwidth. Because
Okay.
there's not much also to cover as well for today.
Okay.
The only thing is like services and other things we can do tomorrow. So.
I guess I was thinking about like what's a good use case for NG switch.
Oh, okay. Let me try to find some good examples for that. See if anything fits well for it.
Yeah. Hold on.
So far, whatever we have learned, is it easy or okay? Or any areas where you felt it was little more complicated and we needed one more revisit on those things?
Um, let me take a look actually.
No problem. Even if you want a revision on any of those areas, I'll do it tomorrow only. But I'll be more prepared for tomorrow, so that's why.
Okay. Um, can I see that document where
Sure.
all
One,
the
one second, one second. You are able to see it?
not yet. Okay. Um, to be honest, maybe like a little bit of TypeScript again.
Okay, no problem. We'll do a little more on that, yeah.
Because I'd say like the like object oriented stuff for like,
Sure. Hmm.
and then definitely like the observable.
Yeah,
Uh,
so we'll do it tomorrow. Nothing to worry.
yeah, I'd say that's
Yeah, observables are something which you haven't reached there yet. So,
okay.
see, whenever we send a data to the backend, right, there we will use observables only to retrieve the data, retrieve the response, and so on. So
Okay.
there we will do that exercise.
Okay. Yeah, because the RxJX stuff, I have no idea what that is.
It is like, yeah, so we will not go very deep into RxJS. The most basically things what we will learn is like, okay, so some part of the RxJS library which provides the capability to send the data to the backend or receive a response and then trigger a notification to the UI to update. So those kind of things we will explore about. Okay, so yeah, so we will do one thing. We will do the TypeScript in the last then.
Okay.
The reason why I am saying that is because see most of the core things what we need in Angular we have learned it already.
Okay.
Okay. So example, the most important thing is like creating a class object, then creating for that we need a component. So basically class is component is nothing but like a class structure. Then you have functions. You know how to do dependency injection. Remember we talked about the dependency injection where you inject a service component, which we will anyway do it as an exercise tomorrow as well. So those things we know how to do it. So then we will learn about how to use observables and so on. So most of the things what we needed practically on a day-to-day basis in Angular, we already where TypeScript is needed, we have learned those things already. Okay. In the TypeScript, we might learn about like little bit advanced topics, but those things you practically may not use it in your development because your application may not need that level of complexity. So,
Okay.
but I'll surely keep that in mind. Whenever I will try to see if I could kind of do a little bit of revision one more time on TypeScript as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
That would help a lot.
Because if you don't know anything about Angular framework, those kind of things, then I need to redo those areas for surely because that is important.
Oh,
But
okay.
TypeScript we will not go much more deeper. So even if you look at any Angular book also, generally they do TypeScript in the last, like say, appendix and add one section around TypeScript. So,
Okay.
because just the basic core concepts, if you are having, like say, understanding the LET variable or difference between LET and VAR, declaring some arrays, those kind of things, if you know, then I think you are practically good to go. Because most of the functions you are still using the JavaScript functions only.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah, so that is
I guess like some of the stuff that we use at work is
yeah.
like that question mark stuff.
Okay.
So something's optional.
Correct.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, but like oh, like to at the end of today, I'll try to look at some stuff I don't get
Sure.
at work, and then I'll ask them tomorrow.
Sure. Send it in the email so that I will prepare some answers in case if needed.
Oh, yeah, I guess that's better. Um,
Do one thing. So I think it's almost like I think 2:30 your time, I guess. Yeah.
yeah,
So we will take a break, at least I guess, because I will prepare a little bit around the services for tomorrow
okay,
and get some examples ready for that. And because see, even in that input output and all, basically communicating between two components, once you understand the core concept, I think you are okay.
yeah,
Getting the point. Like example, NG switch and all, I have never seen practical people using it. Once in a while, we use that NG if or NG for. Even in that NG if, there is a if and else statement is there. That else we hardly use.
yeah.
Okay.
I haven't seen it either.
Yeah. So that's a good example. So there is a NG template which supports NG if else.
So, let me ask you something.
Yeah, sure. Go on.
At work we use NGRX
Okay.
um for like state management.
Correct. Correct. Yeah.
Um, I mean, I don't know if it's like outside the scope of what you're doing.
So we will do one thing. I'll try to see if we could have a separate uh, NGRX as a separate. I think we recently did RxJS separately,
Okay,
about maybe 1 month ago.
okay.
Similar to
fine.
that, I think we will try to. I will propose something for Steam for adding something like a 2-day program for NGRX or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, it doesn't make sense if you're not prepared.
Not immediately because I need to set up my environment and everything prepared for that.
Yeah.
Because we have to get the examples, all those things pretty much ready also.